Hey everybody, welcome to Maine Wedding Buzz, and today my guest is Luke Lanigan from Event Lighting Concepts, and I'm happy to have him here. He's done a lot of work for us at different locations, so he's going to be talking about lighting. So Luke, how did you, tell us a little bit about how you got into lighting?
It's kind of funny. I'm a DJ by trade, and I've been DJing since I've been 18. And just recently in the wedding industry, I kind of found that there was a little disconnect between the bigger lighting companies out there and what the clients actually need for their weddings and their smaller events. And just got, kind of saw the need there, and I saw a lot of people kind of doing lighting that shouldn't be doing lighting. So we decided to look at new technologies and kind of try and bring that to the wedding marketplace to lower the cost or the get into fee for doing lighting at your wedding.
Oh well, and how do you go about getting your clients? I mean, is it word of mouth? Is it direct marketing, sales leads, sales calls, things of that, or?
A lot of it is direct referral from other vendors that we've worked with. I find that is really huge in Maine. The word of mouth from one vendor or a client that you've worked for is really big. We do some marketing and advertising. The internet, of course, is a big place these days. So you have to be able to be found on the internet. But I would say mainly other vendors and personal referrals. So.
Now, what's your best venues to do lighting and saying, some venues are 103 years old, so you do have to bring in lighting because some venues either have a light switch that's either on or off. Mm-hmm. So it is really important to have lighting. So when clients come to you, how do you go about saying where to put that exact lighting? And do you come up with a concept and an idea?
Yeah, so what we really initially do is we try to find out a couple things. We try to find out what their budget is because we can design anything, but we really want to design it around what is affordable or what is set aside for the lighting budget. Design-wise, we really want to take the bride's vision and make it come true. I mean, it's their day. We want to try and make whatever they want to happen. And so we try to get creative with that. I always like venues where they have the on and off switch. Those are
more lighting for you.
Yeah. That's kind of my best friend. Like Ocean Gateway, the Masonic Temple. Some barns have are like that where you go in and you turn the light switch on and all the fluorescents come on, or the big halogen lights, and it just you can't really create the ambiance and the mood that you want to throughout the evening. Mm-hmm. From cocktail to dinner to dancing. In an event with just having the lights at a straight, level. So.
And this is some of the lighting that you have that could create that kind of look for different clients. Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So what we do is we do inside bistro lighting and outside bistro lighting. This is our commercial grade, which each bulb is 25 watts, and the only restriction with this is the amount that you can put per circuit. So it's hung by a cable, mm-hmm. So it's a little bit heavier duty. So you can go longer runs, let's say 100 feet in a tent. Mm-hmm. This type of lighting is good. Versus where we have, and it's kind of a glorified Christmas light, but these are a little bit smaller. The lights are closer together, and but you can put these inside venues. So if you're in a function hall or in a venue like the Masonic Temple, you can actually string it from one side to the other because the weight restriction isn't there.
And what brings it to like a large room like at Ocean Gateway Terminal in Portland, you can actually bring the room down as opposed, because the ceilings are so high that you want to bring the ceiling down.
Right.
So creating that bistro lighting could bring the room down and give you.
Yeah, and that's what we find a lot of clients like is creating a false ceiling, mm-hmm. we call it. And some designs we create a tent inside of a
so almost like a swoop up.
Swoop up into
nice.
A center point. Or we might do crisscross designs. We really want to make sure that our design is lighting the area that is of service. Okay. Meaning, I don't want to build a design over the dance floor where you want it dark, and because I don't know about you, but I don't like dancing in the light. I like it as dark as possible. But you want light over the tables where people are going to be eating and conversing, because the older generation might not be up on the dance floor all night. So.
And you can create these on dimmers, because this weekend you just did an event for us, and everything was on dimmers, which I thought was really kind of cool, because I could bring the lights either up or down, depending on what the mood was.
And that's one thing that we actually don't do them without dimmers, because as a DJ, I know there's nothing worse than a bright dance floor, or when the room doesn't change to the mood. Everything with a wedding or an event is just flow and creating different atmospheres for the the time periods. So with the dimmers, you can have it bright during dinner, and then as dancing, you can bring it down.
And can you control that from the DJ booth?
Yeah, we have some centralized ones, or we have ones that it depends really what the client is looking to do. It all comes down to affordability. Like, we have ways to do things so maybe it's not at a centralized location, but it's a lot more affordable to do it this way, and you still get the same results.
And what about these LEDs that are here?
These are our favorite things in the world. We actually do this is an uplight, and I'm just going to turn this on here. And what this is, and
we have some back ones put up here.
Back behind me.
Which can change colors?
Yeah, so they change. They say a million different shades, different colors. They have. This color wheel right here. We actually offer these as a do-it-yourself too. So if a bride, is working on a tighter budget, but they want to add some lighting. Let's say they're in a function hall where all the walls are tan, and it looks the same as everybody else's wedding that they had before them. They could rent these, and literally the remote is so easy to use. You can pick your color just by spinning your finger around the wheel.
Wonderful.
So, and where they're battery operated, I can set it here. I can set it here. It really, however you want to
do it.
Whatever you're trying to accent. So it's really mobile, and it saves time and money, because you don't have wires anymore.
And so something like that, they can contact you through your website, or just calling you, and they can rent it, and they can pick it up at your location and bring it back, things like that.
Yep.
That's great. That's a great service to actually have with your company as well.
We offered some to wedding planners too, because sometimes they want to add uplighting for their client, and they're working within the client's budget. So we find that this product really works well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And how long does that usually last battery-wise? Is it a 10-hour?
13 hours.
13
actually.
hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've actually had some go 16. I just, I would never risk that. Most events are only 6 hours, and we recharge them after every event.
Great.
So, but.
So I'm going to assume clients let you use your judgment then when it comes to lighting, because that sort of brings me into that next question.
Yeah.
So.
They do and they don't. And I want them to let me use my judgment when I'm doing the install part of it, but I really want their vision. Like, nothing helps more than knowing what they want, and trying to be able to create that. I think that's the fun part of what I do, is you tell me what your vision is, and
we can go from there.
And we can create it for you.
Now, with that said, with budgets and girls being more savvy and more careful with their budgets and their money that they're spending on events, do you find that the economy has gotten better, or has it hindered the lighting industry a little bit?
I've actually, I found that over the past couple of years, an uptick in the economy. I've seen that weddings have gotten a little bit more elaborate. They've added more details to it. I don't know. I mean, we have only been in business for 3 years, so we kind of started right as the uptick started.
Nice.
And it just, we try to make it economy kind of proof. Meaning if you've got a $500 budget, or if you've got a $3,000 budget, we're going to try and find something that works with what you're.
And being in business 3 years, that's great, because you're getting over that hump, and so that's great. So congratulations with that as well. And I know I see you all the time, because I see you at different events that we do. So.
Yeah. And we've added some new staff this year. We have Marvin and John, who are both doing our installs and sales, and been doing an amazing job with that. So.
How has lighting changed, or has it changed from, obviously with the new LEDs with no wires? That's a good change for some places, so you're not seeing wires across rooms. But have you seen new changes that are going to be affecting the 2015, 2016 season?
Well, one change that I'm eagerly awaiting is they're going to start making these bulbs in LED.
Wow.
And I don't know if you've ever noticed, but when you look at an LED white light, it's real bright. It almost looks, fake. People like the soft, warm look of a bistro light.
Yeah.
So what they're really working on now is coming up with that same effect and making it dimmable. So LEDs bulbs are they're not really dimmable yet.
Yeah.
And if they do, they can flicker. There's all kinds of little things. So that's kind of the new thing that I'm anticipating.
Got it.
The uplighting is just, they have all different types of models and makes of it, and it keeps getting better and better.
Wow,
So.
excellent. How do you see more, well, I see more and more bands that are getting into their own lighting. How does that affect your business when they're just lighting the dance floor but not the perimeter? I mean, do you find that to be stressful, or?
Not really, because they're more into the dance lights.
Okay.
They're trying to create atmosphere for the band on stage. Like as a DJ, I don't really do the whole dance lighting thing because I'm more focused on the dance floor, and I find that it gets into pictures and all of that stuff, like lasers and that sort of thing. So I try to avoid that as from the DJ side. When a band has lighting, we always contact them to find out what it is.
So that you're all on the same page?
Yeah, so we're not interfering. I don't want to be uplighting behind them or charging the client to uplight behind them when they've got their own backlighting. So there's no need to duplicate. I'd rather take that and
Put it somewhere else.
Put it somewhere else and do something good.
The cake table, the escort card table, gift tables, things like that that don't get lit because everything else is somewhere else.
Exactly, and then the band too is if they're not lit, if they don't have lights, you don't want them playing in the dark. So it is actually an important question on both ends to ask. And if we ever need to, we'll just call the band directly, ask them what they have. I find that being in the industry and being a professional, that we have it's easier for us to call and ask and say, what's this versus
working together as opposed to letting, saying to the bride, hey, call your, because we know all the lingo and things like that.
The client has so much other stuff to
True.
worry about and just other details and they want to do the fun part of it. Let us do the
work.
The work end of it, so.
What's the most elaborate event lighting setup that you've done?
Well, we did a nice one last year over at Lodholm Farm, and where we actually had a barn, and on one side of the barn we created like a rustic,
I remember seeing that.
old school look, and then on this other section of the barn we kind of made it a modern, new age with the LEDs and like a vibrant nightclub type of feel.
Oh, wow.
So it was kind of cool to be able to do
those two contrasts in there.
Yeah, contrast, because usually you don't see them together. So
excellent. How would you go about getting packages for your clients? Like, would they call you and say, here's package A, package B, or do you do it a la carte, or do you have something that they say, okay, tell me what you want and what your budget is, and then I'll create it? How do you go about doing that?
We have a couple different packages. One with our uplighting, and it's real simple. We have a set fee for if we were going to come up and do this setup and design work and pick up the lights. Each light is $25 rental fee.
Oh, that's not bad. Very good.
If you wanted to rent it on your own and you needed 6 lights, it'd be $150.
Is there a deposit involved with that?
We just take your credit card on file and have you sign a rental agreement, and we hope you're not going to get too rowdy at your event with them. But last night these were at an event, and I literally had kids going picking them up and putting them, doing this with them, and so they're pretty indestructible and pretty easy to use, and that's the key part. And
easy is good, because something like that, I'm not big on the remote control, so it looks very easy. So
and we can either leave it with the client. We can we give them an instruction sheet on how to use the remote. They have full access to a staff member. We have a staff member that's able to be reached during their event.
Oh, that's
so
good
if
to know.
there is any problems at all, or if there's any concerns that come up,
so you have an on-call person
all the time, no matter what. That's
excellent. That's actually a very good thing to have, especially in this industry when you can forget anything, and to have somebody there that you can call, I think is a tremendous thing to have. That's a great. Right there, sold.
Yeah, I mean, just
like
an
that.
example is Saturdays. We had an event Saturday, and I think Friday night they had some guests in the thing, and they took our remote got smashed.
Oh.
So when they went to go turn on the lights, all the lights kept changing. So we had our tech come up before the wedding and actually just go through and reset everything for them. So they were able to get it the way they wanted it.
How much lighting do you think that you need in, or do you deem that when you walk into a venue, you go, okay, well, this is what I need here. Um, for instance, at the Masonic Temple, there are 8 columns, and you light the 8 columns and the foyer and a little bit of lighting here and there. But when you walk into a location that's new and it's the first time you've been there, do you just assess the location and then go, okay, this is what's going to realistically work? Or is that a point where you say to the client, well, tell me what your vision is, or should you tell them what the vision really should be?
So we like doing on-site consults with the client because it's easy when they're pointing things out and showing us, and we can make statements like, well, the sun's coming in from this direction, or the sun's going to set over here, you know, and what time's your event? You know, you're only really going to get an hour and a half of the lighting,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So we really like doing on-site consults. If we're not able to, they usually talk to John. He'll get their vision, their design information, and then we'll go out and do an advance on the site. And we'll actually go do walkthroughs, we'll take pictures, and then usually we take on those pictures and we actually do
The design on 'em?
the design
Oh,
right
wow.
on them. So the client can actually visualize what it would look like when it's installed.
Now, I love the way that lighting can transform a room. Is there ever a time that somebody goes a little overboard on lighting and you say, well, you know, and I know it's part of our business, but do you ever go, "Hey, that's way too much lighting, let's do this instead?" And you have to sometimes reel people in. I know with us, we do the same thing. I'm like, you know, that's a little bit of overkill. Let's do this instead. I think it's going to work better. And I'm also saving you money. I mean, do you?
That's actually the part that they get shocked about. I think they find in the wedding industry that, you know, they're always
We're always out to get them?
yeah, like nickeled and dimed, you know, and it's like I tell my clients, I'm like, if you don't need it, don't do it. I go, I actually won't even do it for you because I'm not gonna take your money for nothing.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a venue like Ocean Gateway and your wedding's done
And it's all windows.
It's all-
Ocean Gate windows is floor to ceiling windows all the way around
Yeah.
the room. So you have to sort of kind of play around with lighting there. It's not something that you uplight the whole thing and say your wedding's over at 6:30. Well,
yeah, like
there's no lighting necessary.
It's no point in it.
Yeah.
Like there really isn't. You know, let's do a couple accents here. Let's do some bistro to drop that ceiling down. But you know, doing uplighting in that situation would just totally be a waste of money. There's other venues that are just really beautiful, and they have lights that dim and. You can like so why come in there and disrupt it? You know, there was a restaurant in New York that was like that. They had this really cool design, and she wanted me to put bistro in. And by the time I showed her it, it just clashed. It clashed with the whole design of the room. So I'll walk away from something before I just do it.
Which is interesting because it leads me to a question that wasn't on my roster to ask you, but with lighting changing, do you think that they would create lighting that you can put into, I have a location that has a pond, and I think it would be really nice to uplight the pond a little bit. Do you think that putting that there could work?
Yeah.
You know, and just sort of lighting the perimeter of their pond, or even in the water. Some sort of floating device. I don't know. I'm just, you know, it's one of those things that if I do a walkthrough with a client, it would be nice to know that is an option that's out there.
One thing that's really cool about this is, and we do this at a lot of venues that they have outdoor tented weddings, is we use this for ambiance lighting outside. So it creates like a safety, like for safety reasons, you're able to light pathways and
Okay.
you know, the other day we had 2 white outhouses and I stuck one of these in between it.
So you knew.
And so like the glow from in between actually lit inside both outhouses a cool color and made the whole outhouse the color of this.
Nice.
And so there's different little things that you can do to turn, you know, normal little things into, you know, really spectacular visual effects. So.
Now, are there any locations that you exclusively do or that you like doing?
Nothing really exclusive, and I don't, because honestly, there's jobs that are too big for us. Like if I was to say, Fausto, I want to be exclusive at Ocean Gateway. Well, I saw a design in there the other day that we're really just not built for. You know, there was sails draping and a full production, you know, that sort of thing. And you're getting into a price range that we really don't even, our budget is between a $750 to $2,000-$2,500 job. And that's really.
And that's lighting, and then DJ is a separate item.
DJing is a totally separate item. Right. We really created this to be an add-on to DJs, to bands, you know, for the client that needs the lighting, but doesn't, you know, want the full production.
Got it.
You know, so.
Would you say 90% of your business is wedding related, or do you do corporate as well? Is it both worlds?
During the summer and you know the summer months in Maine, it's usually all weddings. I have started doing a lot more corporate events during the winter time, so that's something that we've broken into because again, some of their events just don't need that full production of video and sound and all of that stuff. So it's nice when we can come in and just do the lighting portion of it.
Great, great. Well, I appreciate your time. I enjoyed listening to all of this, and like I said, I've used Luke a lot with the different events throughout Portland. You've gone pretty far with me too, like Lot Home Farms and different other locations. So, and also with DJing too, from Wells to well, how far have we gone? I mean, seriously, I mean,
I don't
have
even.
we been to Belfast? No.
Yeah,
Belfast?
I think.
So in that area. So I mean, you go that far, right? Because
Yeah.
actually tomorrow I'm going to a new location in Belfast to check it out. So I'll let you know about that as well.
Cool.
But I appreciate him coming in, and this is Event Lighting Concept, and you'll be able to find his information at the end of this segment. I appreciate everybody for joining us at Maine Wedding Buzz.
Before
And
you go though, I
got a shirt.
I
So
do have
my
to
first
say,
gift on
I
camera.
do have to say, as I have to
Hot
give,
lights. So I
Fausto.
appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you so much, Fausto.
My pleasure.
Thank you.